Happy Wednesday. Interesting topic. May push a button or two, but I'm good at that. The question is, what do you bring into a relationship? Were you ever given the tools to be a good friend and to be a good partner? These tools are learned behaviors from childhood, from age 0 to 10 or 12. The environment you live in, the people that you're raised with. They show you by example how to treat people, how to deal with conflict, disappointment, sadness, grief, all kinds of stuff. Those are all the tools that we're given from age 0 when you're first born all the way to when you're 10 or 12. So think about how you were raised, the people that you were raised with, the adults primarily. Think about it. When conflict hit, how did they deal with it? Because any relationship is going to have conflict. Even if you're just disagreeing over where to go eat, there's conflict. How did they deal with that? How do you deal with that? Is it your way or the highway? Do you always acquiesce and say, you never have an opinion, whatever you want is fine? If you don't get your way, what happens? Do you throw a hissy fit? There are people that start throwing things. They get violent if they don't get their way. Or do you, compromise? What tools are you bringing into a relationship? Are you trustworthy? Do you know how to be a friend? Children that moved a lot because maybe their parents were in the service, in the military, and they just moved. And that happens a lot. Maybe they were in foster care. Maybe they were just not officially in foster care, but they were just passed around from family member to family member. And it's hard to allow yourself to attach to somebody if you're a little person and your heart's been broken a few times. You just get to the point, you're not going to love anybody, you're not going to trust anybody, because I see this a lot. Well, these little people, they grow up to be big people. And they're big people that want a relationship, and they don't know how to do it. They don't have a clue. They know what they want, they just don't know how to get there. They see other people with wonderful, relationships and marriages and kids and lives. They don't know how to do this, and it's very frustrating for them, and they can't act out. And depending on how they were raised, maybe acting out is their norm. If they were raised in a violent environment with drugs and alcohol and criminal activity, and when somebody gets mad, they storm out and are gone for days. Those are learned behaviors that they may have picked up, and that's their behavior now. Now, we always have that option. It's a learned behavior, so you can choose not to learn that behavior and choose a different path for yourself, which I love that when I see that. Or maybe you currently have those negative behaviors and you want to change them, you don't know how. Well, heck, I can give you those tools. Let's make it happen. Anybody can give you those tools. Books, go to the library, go online. You can get those tools. It really isn't complicated, but you have to understand that you're not broken. You're not screwed up. No, honey, you just weren't given the tools. It's no different than if I said, I want you to build a house and you don't have the tools to do it or the knowledge, you're probably not going to build a house. Well, if you're wanting to go into a relationship and have it successful and have it stand, you got to have those tools. It's that simple. So it's not you. You just weren't given the appropriate tools. And that's okay, because you can get them. Learning to trust is hard, because even for the best of us, we believe in someone or something and we get disappointed. I had that happen recently in my life. And, it's like, damn, it's a life lesson. So you learn the life lesson and you move on. You don't beat yourself up about it. You learned the life lesson. If something didn't work out, it didn't work out for a reason. That's okay. It wasn't supposed to work out. If it was supposed to work out, it would have. So don't blame yourself, okay? Take the pressure off of yourself. Don't blame yourself. Now, if you have a drug problem, an alcohol problem, if you have really dangerous or concerning behaviors, you might want to make some changes in your life, because you have to be a friend to yourself before you can be a friend to somebody else. And you're worthy of that. You are worthy of being sober and being healthy and happy and whole. Not a fun process, but honey, you're so worth it. Absolutely. And this is important. When you get into, let's say that maybe you're dealing with alcoholism, drug addiction, whatever, gambling, the list of addictions goes on and on. Once you have your life under control, okay, and you are no longer practicing those addictions, you're always going to be an addict, but you don't have to be active in it, okay? You have it under control. You have your addiction doesn't have you. When you get into a relationship with somebody, tell them. I know it can be embarrassing and hurtful, but honey, they need to know. They deserve to know. They will appreciate the honesty, that you had the courage and you trust them enough to tell them, and tell them, I'm trusting you enough to share this with you. If they're a good person and you're wanting to build a relationship with them, they're not going to throw it up in your face. They're going to thank you for sharing that with them. They're going to tell you they're proud of you for making it through the recovery, and they want the best for you. That's what a friend will do. So don't beat yourself up, okay? But look at the tools. Look what you bring into a relationship. Think of the baggage that you're bringing from past relationships. Do not project the past onto the future. Just because people have lied to you, cheated on you, whatever, in the past doesn't mean the next person will. Make wise choices. Find out if they have the tools for a relationship. Find out if they're honest, if they believe in monogamy, if they're faithful. Ask, talk. Don't just jump into a relationship. Find out. Now, this is my opinion, and I admit I'm a little old lady, but don't be so eager for the immediate gratification of sex that you overlook all these other big red flags. Okay? Think about what you're doing. Think about who you're doing it with. Think about the long-term circumstances. Think about where you want to be in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, and 10 years. Think. Will this, how can I put it? Before you attach yourself to somebody, I want you to learn about them like we've been talking. And then I want you to think, if things work out with this person, where would you be in 3 years? Look at your career. Maybe you're climbing the ladder and you're, hoping to go into management. Are they going to be supportive of that, or are they going to be resentful of that? You have to think about these things. Do they want children? Because babies happen. Maybe you already have children, or they already have children. Is that going to work? Because you can't send them to live with somebody else. When a baby comes into this world, it's your responsibility, not somebody else's. A lot to think about. And if they weren't raised with the tools to deal with crying babies and screaming kids, it might not be a good fit, because you don't want somebody being violent towards your children or trying to discipline your children when they don't have a clue. If they were raised in a toxic environment where they were beaten or abused, or God forbid, sexually abused, you don't want to expose your kids to that. So think about it. Think about the tools that you bring to the table. Think about the tools that they bring to the table. Because you are worth happiness and joy and love and laughter and respect and dignity. But first you have to give it to yourself before you can ask somebody else for it. Okay? But you're worthy. You're definitely worthy.